Yeah, it's a great day for these guys. All these guys that are taking part in a pro day, they've put in a lot of effort over their 4 or 5 years here at BC, and these are great guys. I just told the NFL people, I mean, these are guys that you're looking for in the NFL, in my opinion. These are hardworking guys, good teammates, captains. We have 3 captains working out here today. Consistent guys, smart guys, good communicators, so it's a great day for these guys.
You've been on both sides. What do you tell them about what they're trying to do out here? Maybe not try to do too much and just kind of make an impression.
Yeah, there's different stages, right, to the draft process, right? There's the combine, which is a lot about medical and interviews and some workouts, and then there's pro days. Then there's some of these teams will bring these guys into their organizations, the top 30 visits and all those different things, and then there's teams will come to BC and work these guys out individually. So there's a lot of different stages to the draft process. And I just tell these guys, man, every single time that you have a chance to interview with one of these teams, just show them what you're all about, right? Look them in the eye, communicate with them, be in good condition. When some of these line coaches work these guys out today, they're going to want to know what type of condition they're in, and these guys are in great condition. So it's about a lot of different things, but our guys, I think, will show out very well.
And how about having Mike Vrabel here? You
Yeah.
know, it's kind of like the New England connection now. How hopeful are you to continue that over the years here, to have that connection between the two places?
Absolutely. It helps us, obviously, at BC quite a bit to have Mike and his staff right down the road. Great connection between myself and Mike and Coach Marone and Coach McDaniels and a lot of the guys on the staff there. So Mike spoke to the team, our team this morning, which was fantastic, and we really appreciate that. And yeah, it's going to be great to have those guys at the Patriots now and have that connection.
Bill, how much of a selling point is it for you, all your experience in the NFL, a pathway to, hey, I know what the lifestyle is whenever you're recruiting or developing players?
That's part of what we talk about. I mean, we have on this staff now, with the addition of Corey Robinson, a secondary coach, and Jordan Thomas, our D-line coach, we have over 100 years of NFL experience. We have Bears Najarian here. We've got Tim Lewis. We've got Darryl Wyatt. We've got Will Lawing, Rob Chodzinski on the staff. So we have a lot of NFL experience on this staff, and I think that's one of the things that is part of our selling point is that, look, when you come here, you're going to get a great degree. You're going to be in a great city, 15 minutes from downtown Boston. And you're going to be developed to the best of our ability to be ready to play pro football. So, yeah, we definitely sell that.
Donovan is looked at as your best bet at a first-round pick. When coaches are calling, what are you telling them? What kind of player they're getting in there?
Yeah, look, Donovan, first of all, is just a very bright guy, great teammate, unanimous captain. The whole team voted for him to be the captain of the team, one of the captains of the team. He's got an excellent takeoff at the end of the line of scrimmage. He really did a great job of developing his pass rush skills this past year. Actually, Coach Marone, the O-line coach of the Patriots now, he worked a lot with Donovan this past year, on a week-to-week basis for a pass rush plan in the games. And Donovan really, did a great job of putting that plan into action. He just did an unbelievable job. He never quit, never gave up. He actually probably, I would say, he actually won us a couple games single-handedly by sacking the quarterback and creating turnovers and things. So can't say enough great things about Donovan.
Same thing along the lines with Ozzie and Drew.
Yep.
What are you hearing from teams that they like about those two?
Yeah, look, I think like when you're looking at O-line, this is all just my opinion. But what the teams that call me and what they observe is you've got very bright guys, you got very tough guys, you got guys that never miss practice, guys that never misses games. Guys that both were, again, like Donovan, were unanimous captains. The whole team voted for him to be a captain. They're very bright guys. They're both have master's degrees from Boston College. These are the guys you want in your locker room. That's my opinion. When I was in Houston, these were the type of guys, especially at that position, that you want in your locker room. And so, these guys, any team that drafts Ozzie and Drew is, very fortunate to have them, in my opinion.
Coach, you have some non-BC guys here too. How important was it to open the doors and ensure that you're willing to, have other teams represented?
Yeah, I think it's important. Some of those guys, there were connections. The guy from UNH had a connection to one of my best friends, Todd Wright, who's the strength coach out at the Los Angeles Clippers. We grew up together. So that was a little bit of a connection there. Lapoli, there was a connection there. I played at Brown University with his uncle. So, there were some of them were connections, and we're more than happy to do that. And then, but we closed it at a certain date because really it's about the BC guys. But if we could help out some of these other guys, we had no problem doing that.
Coach,
Mike, he talked to your team this morning.
Yeah.
I'm curious, kind of what's the message there, and what's it like having someone like him addressing your team? Like, what's kind of the impact there?
Yeah, it's a special opportunity to have someone like Mike come in and speak to the team. We've had some great speakers over the last year. We've had Julian Edelman spoke to our team, Matt Ryan spoke to our team, and today Mike did. And he just gave, his message of what it means to be a good teammate, what toughness is all about on the field, but also mental toughness off the field, how you carry yourself off the field, being loyal to the program, being loyal to what the mission is. He covered all those things, and I really appreciate him doing that.
I'm just curious too. We know you guys are good friends. What was the level of excitement when you found out that he was going to be down the road from you with the Patriots?
Yeah, very excited. I told the team this morning, as you go through life, especially after, you get into football and, when you get fired, you realize that maybe you don't have as many friends as you thought you had. And he's definitely a guy that really is one of my greatest friends. And to have him right down the road is just awesome, just to be able to communicate with him and talk to him every once in a while. We're both very busy right now, but to have him and his staff, Doug Marone, another great friend of mine, here today it's pretty cool. It's very cool.
Guys like Drew and Ozzie, do you believe in the lineage factor when it comes to the NFL?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Pete's here today. Pete Kendall was a great player in the NFL. Ozzie's dad was a great player here, was Flutie's tackle and played for the Saints. And I really do believe in that. I think that there is something to that. So hopefully they take that into account too when they're looking at these guys.
Every kid wants to be drafted in the first round. Do you talk to them how it matters more what you do with it than where you're picked?
I always, that was something that I really emphasized a lot when I was in Houston, Trevor, was it didn't really matter where you were drafted. Of course, financially it does, I get that. But in the end, it's what you do when you get to that organization. What do you do on a day-to-day basis? How do you, how consistent are you? Are you always working to try to get better? That was the big lessons that I learned in pro football. Like, I used to tell the guys in Houston, or ask them, like, hey, where were you drafted? I was drafted in the 6th round. Well, okay, good for you. Now, what are you going to do for us now? Because I think that's what it's all about. What do you do when you get to the organization? That's the biggest thing. It's not really how you got there.
Coach, what kind of coach are the Patriots getting with Doug Marone?
Oh, they're getting a great coach. They're getting a very smart guy, a very knowledgeable guy that can connect with his players, a guy that'll do a really good job of understanding the talent that he has, evaluating the talent that's out there to help Mike bring in a good offensive line. And he's just an excellent coach. I've known Doug since 1995. I was at Georgia Tech with Doug, and he's taught me a lot about football. And I think Mike Vrabel made a great choice in hiring him to be the O-line coach.
How much can a day like today motivate your other players to show that they work hard, they can get to this point, and have those scouts looking at them one day?
Absolutely. I think that that's one of the things we said today. You have all 32 teams are here, and you got 10 guys from the Patriots are here. I think this gives us an ability to tell our players, like, hey, look, like, they're coming here because they want to be around BC guys and see what they're all about. Maybe eventually they would draft them. I think that's a big part of today is our own players being able to see that is very important.
Bill, from the NFL side of things, what's the value on days like today evaluating players?
I think it's big. I think like last night, I know a couple coaches came in and they met with our guys, and it's a job interview, right? And so they talked football with them and then took them out to dinner. How do they interact with them in a social setting? And our guys will do a great job with all that. They'll nail that. But I think from an NFL perspective, it's very important to get to know each guy that you're bringing into your locker room. I think that's a big deal. I think that I know that Mike will put a premium on who comes into that locker room, because it's a tremendous honor to be in an NFL locker room. And so to have that opportunity to be in a locker room, you've got to show them and be able to put your best foot forward. And these days go a long way towards helping them make those type of decisions.
Did anyone ever change your mind with the way they tested? Like someone, you went to a pro day and you're like, maybe I got to go back and watch that guy again.
Oh yeah, especially when I was working for Bill my first stint, I can remember going out and working out, receivers and you know, the most famous story for me when I was there is Julian Edelman. I mean, everybody went out there and worked him out, right? Because, you know, we wanted to see, because Bill would tell us, like, he's not a quarterback, so don't tell me he's a quarterback. Now, don't tell Julian that, but he's something. And obviously he turned into, in my opinion, a Hall of Fame player. So, yeah, there's several examples of it takes a while to really, you know, kind of understand what the player's all about. You can see him on film, you can watch him do what that coaching staff had him do, but you know, you go work him out, figure out what he could do well for us, get to know him. Is he the type of guy you want in your program? So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of examples of, hey, it started out looking like, I don't know about this guy, and then all of a sudden it was, yeah, I think this guy can do something for us. So.
And with that said, how much do you appreciate, after all the years you've been in coaching, guys having that dream of hearing their name on draft day, or even as an undrafted free agent,
yeah.
Just that dream? How much do you appreciate the dream that these kids have?
I really do appreciate it. I do. I go back to that question, though, that Trevor asked, though. I always told the guys, like, it's definitely a big part in your life, but it's just a part. It's what you do from that point forward. You've accomplished that. You've gotten to that point where an NFL team has brought you into their organization, but now what are you going to do with it? Because if you play your cards right and you stay healthy, you take care of your body, and you're a good guy, and you get better every day, it's a hell of a job to have. So I think that's what I always try to talk to our guys about.
Bill, year 2 of your program
yes, sir.
Here.
Yep.
I'm curious just how you see the team coming together and what
Yep.
you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I like our team. These guys, last year we got hired like the second week of February, so really didn't have a full off season with them. Now we've had a full off season, so you can see these guys getting stronger, better condition, understanding how we want to practice, understanding, you know, just our program, you know, how important it is to go to class, how important it is to give back to the community, how important it is to, you know, get better on the football field. You can do all of these things at BC, and I really like our team. They give us everything they've got. You know, Saturday we had a 150-play scrimmage, and, you know, these guys were working very, very hard, and I love coaching them. They show up every day. They're great guys, and I think we're on the right track.
You mentioned Donovan's leadership earlier. Can you elaborate on his competitive spirit and how contagious that was for the entire team last year?
I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, I can remember like one of the first spring practices. I don't even think we were in pads yet, and, you know, it was very difficult to block him. And, you know, he was getting after it. He went 100 miles an hour on every single play in spring practice, and that right away stood out to me. Very competitive, very smart, very good leader with the younger players, telling them what to do. You know, educating them on what it meant to play hard, but also to know your assignment. And so, yeah, I think the world of Donovan, and I think he'll be a great pro.
Bill, given what you know of Mike and the kind of culture that he
Now on the broad jump,
how do you think Ozzie would fit into that?
Yeah. I mean, that, to me, like, it's almost it's a great question. It's an easy question for me because Ozzie is the type of guy who is just the same guy every day. Never misses practice. Very tough, very talented, very smart. He's got a master's degree from Boston College. Be excellent in the locker room. He'll do whatever the coach asks him to do. He'll play right tackle, he'll play left tackle, he'll play guard if you want him to. He'll do whatever you ask him to do. He always puts the team first, and I think that's, you know, some of the things that I think Mike's probably looking for. I'm not telling Mike who to draft, but I don't think he can go wrong with Ozzie Trapillo. Ozzie Trapillo will be a great pro.
Did you ever sell cars?
What's that?
You ever sell cars?
Did I ever sell cars? Yeah, no.
Pretty good at it.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
All right, last one or two?
I'm good.
Good? Thank you, guys. Yep, thanks for being here.